brief film on dredging to make you aware of first of all, that the activity is out there for you to participate in and to get you involved, hopefully, and extend your diving life. Seek out some of the other organizations, the materials they have. Go to the library and do some research, and you'll find out there's a lot of information out there. So we'll go ahead and clean up now, clean up the material that we've dredged, and I'll take you in detail through that, how we take our material from the dredge, get the gold out of it quickly and relatively painlessly. Now, once we have our materials out of the dredge, they're called concentrates, and we need to have some method of separating the gold from the heavy elements that are in them, the iron ores, etc. And to do that, we have a variety of methods. Now I'm going to show you how I do it. Bear in mind I'm 3,400 miles away from my home in Florida, so I need something that's relatively quick and easy to do. I can't take a lot of the concentrates back with me, so I go ahead and process while I'm on the road. Now behind me is a spiral wheel. The spiral wheel was invented by the Egyptians. That's how they separated their gold, albeit they didn't do it with with electric motors running the wheel, etc. And I'm going to take and screen my material down. Now I've got a screen, and this gets all of our materials to roughly the same size, and that's one of the keys to running a spiral wheel. Now I'm actually using a larger screen than you normally would, but I'm also, after I run my materials through the spiral wheel, I'm going to run it through a gold bowl and separate the little smaller stuff, and you'll see how that's done in just a minute. Now I'm just going to take and screen our material down. We're trying to get everything to the same specific gravity so it'll go up the wheel easier, and I'm using a little bit larger mesh again so that you can actually see the gold. There won't be any question of what's going up that wheel. Now that we've screened our material, we're ready to run it through the wheel, and I'm simply going to spoon it in. The material that comes off of the wheel and drops in the bucket, I'm going to screen that further, and the material that doesn't make it through the screen, I'll pan that out with a gold pan, teach you how to gold pan. And the material that does drop through, I'm going to run that through a blue bowl, which separates the little microfines, and you can see how that works. Let's go ahead and run our material through the spiral wheel. Okay, we're going to turn our water on and turn the motor for our wheel on. And now the gold will be climbing the spiral wheels up into the center and dropping back into a gold pan on the back. Now this is the Gold Genie model. There are several manufacturers that make these wheels. Again, the Egyptians first invented the wheel to separate their gold from the desert sands. Now we're going to go ahead and spoon in some material and watch the gold climb up the wheel. I just put in 3 spoonfuls. And there you see some gold climbing the wheel. Some more pieces climbing the wheel. You go right on up. There's more gold. More. Now this is live as it's happening. This is our material that we dredged the other day. We'll add another spoonful here. Another one. Okay, and this is our gold dropping out in the pan in the back of the gold wheel, spiral wheel. And let's take a look at, see what we found here. That's still dropping in. This is just the initial gold coming out. You can actually see the gold as it's dropping in. Okay, we're going to take and drop a spoonful in. Notice that the blonde sands immediately began rising up to the center and going down into the center into a bucket below. And your black sand will slowly filter up as well, a little slower. And what remains are the smaller, heavier particles of gold, and we can separate extremely small particles of gold. And now we're going to pan out our lighter sand material that wouldn't go through the screen into the bucket from the spiral wheel. Now, since it's sand and gold, it should pan real easy. Now, I don't claim any expertise in panning, but that gold should sink right to the bottom. I'm keeping my pan, the edge of my pan up, lip of it up, so nothing escapes. And I'm just slurring it back and forth. And that gold is already sunk to the bottom. Now, if I pour my water off, see how the material's locked up? Now that's when you can lose gold over the edge. So you want it in just a liquid form, your material. And see how the lighter material will just slough right off the end? Now, in real life, it's not this way if you go out here and just dig you a shovel full of material, because you're going to have a lot of black sand, which is the iron ore, which is heavy material and hard to pan. And the gold tends to want to float with that. So in the real life scenario, it's a little more difficult than what you're seeing here. And that's one of the reasons I use the machines. They do this, the one thing that I can't do, and that is they do the same thing every time. They don't get tired and lose form, lose technique. They just do the same thing every time. Now, I expect to find a little gold in here because, remember, I didn't classify my material down to the manufacturer of the spiral wheels recommendation. I had larger material going through it simply so I could show you some gold going up. And there wouldn't be any question that it was gold on film. Now, I'm already seeing some gold in the bottom of the pan showing up. And I'll just take and swirl around a little bit here. Bring that gold back. And we can take and, at this point, kind of tap it up. The gold being heavier goes right to the rim. There it is. I'd like to talk to you for a moment about improving your diving skills and some additional resources that you can use to learn about gold dredging and working underwater. I've been diving for over 20 years now. A lot of that was as a treasure diver in Florida with some of the best treasure divers that have ever lived. And I might have made some of that underwater footage seem a little too easy. To do this, in my opinion, you should be at least an advanced open water diver, and the place you want to start there is at your local scuba shop and move up to where you're completely comfortable working on